Hey guys, I've just been lying in bed and picking away at this glue on the underside of my hairpiece, thinking that now on day 7 that this lace hairpiece should be rebonded at the front hairline. But having looked at the top, just with this lighting right now, it appears that either it's deteriorated on its own or all that picking from underneath the glue at the base was the wrong way about getting the glue out. And I know it's not the correct way. You're supposed to use something called lace release, spray it through the top, then the hair will disconnect from the glue, mostly, good enough, and then you'll be stuck with the glue stuck to your own forehead, which you can then pick off, leaving the hairpiece in good condition. But I fucked it up, because I never do that. So, this hairpiece is really a write-off, given that I'm going to have to appear in broad daylight to some people on camera and rolling around on the floor and stuff as we do a drama class. So I'm just going to pull that. Oh, I hate that. It feels like I'm waxing my head. Alright, anyway. That's quite transparent. Translucent at least. Not good enough. That's just... You can see all the build-up of glue through the hairs and so on. There would have been a way to pattern it. Oh, that's why it looks so shit. See, because after 7 days, my natural hair's grown back through. It's 4:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I just haven't slept again. I'm lying there. Actually, my coffee, the kettle would have boiled by now, so I can have a coffee. I'm trying to make sure that I don't go to sleep now, it's too late. So, by the way, I just sprayed C22 to get this glue to peel off or dissolve the solvent. And I'm going to take some baby wipes, which are not only just like wet tissues, they are also hardy. They're hard to rip. If you would do this with toilet paper or just a standard face tissue, it would disintegrate as you played with it. I'm not saying you're a puppy and you like to play with tissues, I'm just saying the motion of it over this rough hair and everything would cause it to disintegrate. Obviously tissue is not the right answer either, given it's inside hairs now that are too long. It helps of course, but there's another tool that we need, and that is the trusty comb. The comb that you never let people see when they visit your house because it's covered in glue and gunk. So that's 7 days regrowth. It might be an idea to get in the habit of changing the hairpiece once a week. And I was surprised from somebody saying that they change their hairpiece once a day. Not necessarily change it, but just take it off at night and put it beside their bed. To me that feels a little bit like a glass of water for your false teeth. I don't think I could do that. I would like to think I'm more available to stay at places that are not my bedroom for the rest of my life. So I don't know how many opportunities I'd get outside of my own home to have like a little coat hook, a hat hook, whatever it is that you sit on. Some kind of mannequin head, pins or something. I just couldn't do that. I keep the one that I've got on my head, glued on, and the rest in a box ready to go. I can't fathom that lifestyle to have to take it off and on every single day. That's not good. Once a week seems like the logical amount of time that you have to get back to it. And well, you didn't have to do what I did today. I just obviously tore away at the hairs in my hairpiece in a non-advisable way. But even though I'm preparing my forehead now, my scalp, I haven't prepared a new hairpiece. Now I could try lace again today, for your sake. There's only 1 week left of school, so we'll be not seeing each other for another month after that. During which time it'll be all about you. bit stoned because this thing I took was this. I took it at 5 o'clock. I thought I've had a fucking hard day. I'm just gonna take this thing, right? It's weird. It's weird. It's based on cannabis. Probably illegal. I don't know. So I was having sleeping difficulties. You run out. I don't know. I just didn't. It doesn't hit you until 4 hours later or something. It's amazing. So yeah, it's just. I woke up stoned. I was asleep. I fell asleep watching Disenchantment, I think. The new Matt Groening cartoon. I haven't learned to love the characters yet, but hopefully it'll be a lot more impactful to me than Futurama was, which I didn't really get into that much. American Dad and Futurama are the red-headed stepchildren of a Matt Groening and what's his name, comedian face who writes Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane franchises. And I can say that because I was a red-headed stepchild. Actually, like, I read that as a quote from Empire magazine about Jar Jar Binks to the Star Wars family. And I read it to my stepmother, and she was like, yeah, funny how that's an insult. Yeah. So, needs more C22 because I use what I just had on there. Oh, by the way, these lids that they give you with these Walker Tape Company products, they just come off all the time. I dropped it and it broke as well. So it's my fault, but the lids do not have enough seal underneath between the lid and the bottle. There's no rubber seal or anything to stop it from all leaking out. If you store it in a box or something, they just open up on their own. That's what I'm talking. That's the sort of corner cutting I'm talking about in this industry. It's like even the bottles and stuff are not made properly. It's like, imagine a 50-50 chance of Coca-Cola being flat every time you open a bottle. They wouldn't have done as well, you know. It would just been another company that risen to the top. You can't make mistakes like that if you want to win. You might say it's not our fault, it's the bottling company's fault. Well, you have lots of bottling companies to choose from. Pay the extra 10 cents per bottle so your customers don't complain and move somewhere else. But I think what they do is realise we've cornered the market here, nobody's rising to compete with us. We'll just keep our standards low so we don't have to spend as much money and we maximise our profits. But they don't understand that if they made it all digestible for the common man, it wouldn't just be extremists such as me coming out here and saying, look at what I got here, right? There'd just be more people who are bald who are going, that was easy, got a bundle, this box comes with everything I need, just buy that. Problem with Ultra Hold and stuff like that though is they can't ship it overseas anymore on flights, so I'm not sure why. I really don't know. It must be flammable or something. This stuff, they can't ship it. Caution, close cap tightly, do not breathe fumes, still below 90 degrees Fahrenheit, test on some more things. Yeah, it says professional use only, flammable, waterproof. So yeah, it is flammable. That's probably why. So they can take it on ships, because it's okay if they burn because they're touching water, I guess. And they go, oh, I don't know. They don't want to be on planes though, and I don't think you can ship from overseas, and they wouldn't bother with all the shipping rigmarole. They just say, no, we're not doing it. While they're in a country, you don't get it. But luckily, you can buy that sort of stuff on eBay. We don't really have Amazon here. If we do, then I'm not sure if it works. But I think Amazon's a big company in America, and 60% of you, I think, are in America. So it should come handy. Not that I know that every single state has the same stores, America-wide. I'll be using this, by the way. But I'm going to use that piece of lace that's over there. But first I've got to check that this lace has actually got bleach on it, so I'm being a bit worried about it. So here's the first one off the top of the box. Ooh, that I don't think I even need the basin to show you how bad those knots are. That is extreme. And I've tried bleaching them at length, but it didn't work. It's got to be clothing dye. Can't use it. A bit of a predicament here. If I can't fix my hair, I won't go to school. There's no way. Here's the second piece. Based on the cut, that would be the front. So yeah, I can tell you they're dark black. It's not bleached properly. Also, that was the center part of the scalp, which I had to cut out because the whole thing's in the shape of a dome and sewn in all these different directions. I've never really figured out how to rebrush the hair so that this goes in one direction only. This here is a fresh piece of poly that's used my latest stencil. Maybe I'll go with that. Doesn't mean I don't have to use this stuff. I can still test this stuff out. But the thing is, that front hairline problem that I've been having over the last 7 days since I've been wearing the lace again, of having to worry about that. That problem will be gone. But this could still do something to extend the life of it. But the problem is the adhesion life is awesome. It's the V-loop life that's concerning. And I just noticed there's a little bit of black mark on the top tip there. Right on the front hairline. And that'll be seen right through, so I might just have to wait till it's in my head before I do anything with that. This video is not very clear about all my messages here. Aside from the fact that I was just changing my hair and I thought I'd show you 7 days with the lace. Seems like that's the amount of time for the hairs to grow back through and kind of getting visible through the lace if it's not a thick enough density, like medium density. Medium light density might show through. If you have medium light density, you might have to change every 7 days so this doesn't happen to you. Next thing I'll do is heat up a razor blade with hot water. Use my hand as a guide so I can't go past it. Alcohol to make sure that there is nothing sticky, such as even my fingerprints or anything, because I don't know if I can blame them for anything, but might lose stick. Fingerprint oil makes halogen light bulbs explode or pop out, apparently, so there must be something to that oil that's pretty hardcore, and also it makes phones dirty. Okay, so I need to make a hairpiece actually. This plus this, useless. Tried that heaps of times. Not gonna happen. It's clothing dye. This and this, that one's already done, right? That's the old one. And I took this off because after 2 days of wearing it, started showing signs of plastic being revealed through the hair and wasn't quite right for some reason. Yeah, you can see there are gaps and stuff up there, even with it twice. That's a pity that only lasts 1.5 days. This one here is going to be nose to spine alignment as well. I can't can't trust it. It was nose to spine here, but on the other side, which will be the front, I can't tell if it's sideways or diagonal or something because they're not all in straight lines throughout. But that's the side I'll be dyeing. And I'll do these as well at the same time. So I'll dye 3 of the roots along the front hairline of all 3 of these because they are not using clothing dye. This one kind of is ready to go though. I did bleach this one, but as you can see, that's the part where they put the number. Also, I can see here, this is the wrong hair colour. It seems, now that my hair is dark, at least, but it's wet. Could be the wrong hair colour. But if I pre-glue that, I might be able to, but like I've shown you before, if I pre-glue that and then add alcohol, then it's too hard to dry. It doesn't seem to really make any difference if I glue that first or that first. I still have to line it up and just pop it down without any alcohol at all, or put a minimal amount of alcohol so it can dry. Leave the front blank, peel it back, and then paint along that part of it. Did me to wear that one today. Well, the roots are already bleached the front. You can tell from a little bit of blonde there, I think. So that shouldn't be a wall of hair. That should be blonded to transition. Almost the same effect as graduated hairline. But like I said, the graduated hairline is a bit scary because you've got exposed lace or poly netting, or lace netting or polyplastic shine in between the hairs that are sporadic at the beginning. And that's exactly what I try to avoid. So the graduation might not be such a great idea compared to simply bleaching the front knots. It might be a wall of hair, but it's going to be a very light coloured wall of hair and therefore not look disgusting. Yeah, so unfortunately, if this is the first time you've heard this information, I'm sorry to bring the bad news, but poly bases, nor Swiss lace, nor obviously French lace is thicker than Swiss lace, none of these bases are invisible at this point in history. They'll need something else. I tried to figure out how I'd get a net stitched with needle and thread onto my scalp at one point when I first starting this out. I thought glue's not the answer. Once I realized that the glue mixed with the lace made the lace hide, because the glue raises the skin level in appearance so that the lace isn't rising above the skin by about a millimeter. So if I sewed, not that I'm going to ever do that, that's crazy, the lace on top of the skin, it wouldn't look right. You need it to be glued on. Then I started thinking, what if I just slice open the back of my head, shove down some lace, and then get some doctor to pull the hairs out through there. I can't even imagine the rejection that your body would suffer as a result of that kind of action. Something I've learned from previous occasions is to wet the poly hair piece. Well, the hair. Because I found it very difficult to place it And just the poly creates a wall of visibility. A wall of disinvisibility. It doesn't allow you to see through it properly. See, now I can see through and place it and stuff like that because the hair's wet, but when it's dry, you can't see through. As for that part there, I'm just gonna have to make sure that's just squeezed together somehow when it gets to this bit up here. That is the front hairline, which is fucking stupid of me to cut that direction. Using the hairbrush on this stuff will already straight away begin to pull out some poly hairs, V-loops, because V-loops are not tied in, they're just squeezed in by the plastic process. That's why this one here, for example, is sticking out longer, because that's 2 hairs I just pulled out because 1 got bent. Let's hope the people at school don't notice a difference in my hair today. I'll try to cut it the same as last time. I've also got to try to find a plan B because my school year is going to finish and after this next term, it'll be the end of it. I've got to have a plan B for which city I want to live in, what I'm going to do with my life, etc. Writing, I think, is what my life should be about. All those dreams of a distant future where one day I'll do this, it's too late to dream anymore. It's 40. Well, get the fuck on with it, man. You should be married with kids and $100,000 in the bank account by now at least. Way behind. Anyway, I was twiddling my thumbs for years while I waited for this baldness to disappear. That's what I blame. Now I've got a full head of hair, I can go out into the world and conquer. I don't have one right now, but I will. Let's try that. I'm pretty sure I'm still stoned, and I hope it'll wear off before it's time to go to school. There's quite a lot of concentration required as an actor. A lot of concentration is required. You can never relax. Okay, so on the back, there aren't hairs poking through, but they could be right there, but there aren't, which is lucky, okay. Now as for the placement, I usually have to slip this around for a while to get this accurate, so how the fuck am I going to get this on in one go? I guess there are 2 corners up there which I can kind of recognise as being up there and there. These are the 2 corners, and I'm going to worry about those hairs flicking in. It's very difficult. Feels very wrong to be doing it this way. To try not to miss on the first go without any alcohol to help. So normally you'd spray alcohol onto this first, and then it'd be wet, and then you'd slide it around, and then after 30 seconds, with lace of course, it would evaporate, but with poly, it won't really evaporate fast. So to save time for the first time today, I'm experimenting with trying to place it down without alcohol, and it's all about whether this corner made it all the way across. It feels like it didn't quite make it. Feels like that side got more than that side. It feels like there's a lip there, and a lip of poly is a visible plastic lip. Now, as for the front part, there's another thing I've got to worry about. I need it to be disconnected enough to stretch down to the correct position. Which is just there. That's too high. Because I placed the hairpiece too high. Oh, and then there's that piece of black there that I've got to cut off, which I can't see at the moment. I can't even see where it is. Maybe I'll see it after. Let's see how this goes. That's too high, isn't it? Stretching it isn't really safe because it could spring back up. But there's probably no gap up here, at least at the moment. So maybe I should just risk it. Okay, so I just had a little idea because I'm stoned and this is what I do. I hardly ever get stoned, don't worry. That's what I think should happen. Just pull that back tighter. Then glue this. Try not to get any glue on any of the front hairs, but still make it right to the front edge. This bit's a bit of a pain here. It's not good when that happens. That's going to be hard to fix up. Yeah, hopefully you'll learn from my mistakes. That bit along the front there is no good. And I have to tell you, if that front edge isn't bleached like I thought it might be, then I'm going to have to try to bleach it while I'm wearing it. Then if I burn my forehead off again, I'm not going to class until next week when it starts to heal. It's terrible how this kind of thing affects your life so much. If I was bald, I'd just go straight into class and they'd just know I was bald and we'd be at the end of it, right? I know what you're talking about. There are a lot of pros to shaving your head and accepting your appearance. But they're vastly outweighed by the respect you get from having a full head of hair. completely different world. The way strangers and people treat you. It's strange, isn't it? The way you look matters so much. Matters what clothes you wear as well. Hugely. Don't give me any examples of people you know how they would treat you the same if you're wearing different clothes because they've known you for a long time. It's irrelevant. I'm talking about shopkeepers, I'm talking about new people you're meeting. I'm talking about people you don't know that well. Reading glasses, a beard, a full head of hair, a jacket, a suit, a nice dress. That's why girls would probably love going to the ball, because everyone goes, wow, I didn't even worth that much. Is that right? Of course it is. Okay, the other thing I was going to do here is something I forgot to do from the beginning, which is put this stuff down. Max Hold Sport. It's a dab applicator. This was recommended to me by one of my commenters. And you see it's barely visible, and for you, not visible at all. For me, it's a little bit shiny on the back of my hand. I don't know if you can see that. Just freckles. Okay, so that doesn't feel like it's really coming out of the bottle that much. But I can see a little bit of shininess coming out of it. And this is supposed to stop the front hairline sweating too much, apparently. Or anywhere on your head, maybe. I can't feel it being applied. I'm squeezing it and I can feel the buttons being depressed as I press down each time, but it's not very squeezable. It's a very hard plastic. And I acknowledge that I'm coming down past the front hairline. So hopefully it's not shiny along here later when I don't want it to be. Hopefully I'll be able to wipe it off somehow. On the back of my head now I feel a kind of a tightness happening. And there is a shine to it. I'm just going to see if a wet wipe wipes it off. Not really, still a bit shiny. Wow, could be left with a bit of a shiny problem at the front there. But I'm going to be having a shower, so I'll make sure I do that when I'm in there. As for this blobby thing that I've put at the front there, especially those parts up there and the bit that I haven't seen, which has a bit of black on it from the marker, which was from the tracing, there are some problems to be solved. That bit there, what's coming out there, a big glob of glue pushing through into the hairs below, I can see it already. Hopefully it's just crossed over the base of them and it's not going to be a problem. We'll see. About 15 minutes and I'll leave that to dry. Okay, so let's just hope that oh fuck, it's gonna line up. Okay, so that stuff, Walker Hold, Walker Tape, Max Hold Sport. It's a hardened kind of wrinkle. It makes you look a little bit wrinkly and kind of wet look right there. So I don't know, it'll maybe help with the hold. and I'll try to clean up anything that's happening up there. Now once again, I'm not using alcohol. I'm going to just try and push it straight down, which shouldn't be a problem at the front hairline. But I do want to make sure that it is a bit of a problem. Okay, I'll try and drag it down now. And you can see that some hairs seem to be stuck together down here in the middle where that hole was. Could be a problem. There was some mess made up there when I put the glue on, as you can see there. And also I can see that this front hairline is not bleached very well. I thought this was one of the hair pieces from a previous video that I'd bleached the knots, the roots down the front. And maybe it is, but it just doesn't look very effective, especially with all that nonsense happening down there at the front that I messed up. And also, as you can see, that's on an angle. And there's probably some overhang up here, which will be a major problem that I'll have to try to cut away. That front hairline really is not bleached well enough to hide. You can see just from grabbing that little bit of glue, it took out all those hairs as well. That's how easy the V-loops come out. You've got to really treat these poly units really fragile. I can't see any way to really solve this except to maybe spray it with some C22 and try to comb out the residue glue that would probably melt now. Clearly a big chunk of glue is sitting there at the front as well. So, because this is poly, I'm going to spray this over the top. But really, even though there's not that much fear of having anything penetrate through downwards, it can still go up in from underneath. So I'm just going to use a baby wipe. Try to get rid of all that exposed glue here. I think that bottle says 60 seconds before it reacts, but I've seen it act faster. And let's not forget there is a hole in here somewhere where the glue is exposed as well. Now the comb, I'll use this to try to drag out any glue or stuff, but look at that, it just takes the V-loops right out straight away. I just lost that much hair right there on the front hairline. I'm really compelled to cut this out, but really I probably shouldn't, should I? I should just try to fix it. Now maybe if I spray enough alcohol, that can be used as kind of a cleaner to get rid of the C22 at the front here. Potentially I can salvage that front part without having to cut anything out. But no matter what, I think I have to re-bleach this front section. And maybe those really clogged up chunks there of hair covering glue really do need to be cut out. That's just not, well, let's pull it out. That's not good. It's really not good at all. It's quite a lot of exposed poly at the front there without any hairs on it. And there's an exposed hole there as well. This is all glue that's shining here at the front, the hairline. That's not good at all. So, even though I cannot be bothered doing this, I have no choice unless I want to change hair pieces and throw this one away and re-bleach the other ones and everything. To try to, which I will do if I'm going to open that bleach up, I'll do them all. Which means I'll have second chances. Alright. We're moving on to bleaching. To the stuff we get. This will be the bottle, then I have this stuff, and then this stuff. And apparently it'll take it from whatever colour my hair is now to whatever that colour is. Blonde enough to disguise it. Really not, we're not going to do anything about hiding all that stuff. I'm just wondering if the reaction in the bleach will do something to dissolve that glue at the front there as well. Because I'll have to jump in the shower when that bleach starts to burn me like last time. And I'll bleach the front hairlines of these three at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to put this on this hairpiece first, wait till it burns the shit out of me, and in the meantime use the rest of this bottle. And those three other hairpieces, just the front part at the roots, the first centimetre or so in and well, in height. I'm not trying to get a centimetre higher, but I'd go a bit shorter than that. It's just, that's how much I'd expect it to absorb upwards. Now obviously I can't be seen like that, if you can see what I'm saying. It looks like glue has just been spilled all over the front. I think maybe before I bleach it I should try to do something to get that glue out more. But that is rubbing out all the V-loops as well, so it's very fragile there. I'm going to have to do something. Now there's a time limit on this stuff, so. But I will. One last shot of getting this glue out a bit. So that's C22 solvent I just put on. And I'll just let that sit there for a second. And I'll start applying this to that. Okay, I've applied the bleach to the other three, and I've left this C22 on it for about 2 minutes. I'm just going to take this off so there's no tug of war, even though it's just ripped a bunch of hairs out as well. Probably thinking, why are you swapping lace for poly if this happens? I shouldn't have done it the way I did it. I used to pre-glue the entire piece, then put alcohol down and then just kind of slip it into position. It would just be in the right spot. And I thought this would solve it by not putting any alcohol spray down. But it kind of didn't solve it. And I think I've totally fucked up that front major fucking area that matters the most. Like, I can't even see any hairs right there at the front middle anymore. And I'm not... I just can't imagine that that's ever going to be able to look good. I think I've made a mess of it. Major mess. That's it, I'm shaving my head. Can't be bothered with this shit anymore. No. I'm gonna just try again because that's fucked up. I fucked it. That's really torn. My process has torn out every major front hair. Just tore out some more. Just that one grasp. It just tore out like 20 hairs. These excess ones on the front, I just kind of just keep moving them out of the way and they end up de-threading. It's not good. Now I wonder if I really want to risk burning myself for this. That's like, I mean, that stuff has burned me in the past. Maybe I didn't shake it enough and all the, I don't know. It burned me though. But now, given that my front hairline is just way back there and it's already on an angle, and I'm gonna have to do it the way I did it last time. So I guess I'll wait for those three. I'll have to throw out the one I'm wearing. Given that I've already decided that I'm not going to be able to use this, it's now rubbish, I'm going to have to see how easy it is to peel this piece off. It's freshly applied after about half an hour of sitting there with no alcohol to keep it wet. Now, does the poly stretch when you're pulling it off? Tiny bit. But it springs right back into position as I do it, so if it wasn't for the V-lips missing, then that should be fine to reuse, but because the V-lips are all missing from the front bit, this has to be discarded for my head. No good. Now, as for this glue that's already here, I'm thinking maybe I should just spray it with alcohol and just do that whole process with not pre-gluing the hair pieces, but rather pre-gluing my forehead. Because I don't want to have to wipe this glue off. And glue against glue makes it less slippery when you're trying to apply it. And even though a lot of the glue did come out on this hairpiece, maybe I'll just do a quick coat over the top of this with some more Walker Ultra Hold so that there are no, there are bits missing. So I'll re-glue it. And unfortunately I won't get a chance to reuse this stuff because it'll mess things up too much. But in the meantime, I feel like there's already a bit of sweat from those 5 minutes that I had that on. So I'm going to use some alcohol spray to kind of converge with the sweat and hopefully lift it all up together before I reapply a new layer of glue. You've got to bear in mind that with poly you can actually see any lumps or dirty glue through the plastic. Okay, so the alcohol's mostly evaporated already, and I feel like it's cleanish, so I'm just going to redo my scalp with Walker Ultra Hold Glue. For the last 5 days in a row, I've been doing sit-ups, not sit-ups, just squats, but just holding onto the railing over there when I get out of the shower, and doing 20 push-ups. Well, I basically do 2 sets of 10 push-ups because I've been so injured and weak by everything I've been doing. Maybe aging as well, maybe sitting around and maybe lifting too much stuff at the start of the year, which caused a lot of torn ligaments and stuff. I slowly had the balls to get back into moving my body at all. With all the smoking I do, I feel like it's gonna cause issues with my lungs or something if I inhale too much. And I do wheeze like I've got emphysema. But I'm mostly using vaporizer now. It's cheaper than smoking. Doesn't leave any mess. People don't know when you've done it. It's a sneaky way to smoke wherever you are. But then I guess when I get home, I'm like, alright, give me a cigarette. But I spent a lot of money, even this week alone, on buying more cigarettes. So I need to phase them out and go 100% vape. Because when I vape, I can go without for longer as well. So I've cut down for sure on how many cigarettes I would smoke a day because of the vaping. So it's been hugely successful as a an age to quit smoking. I highly recommend it if you are a full-time smoker. And people are less disgusted by you. If you're going to go to the trouble to getting your full head of hair back, you might want to think about smelling good and not being surrounded by cigarette butts as well. I find that to be quite useful. So I'm going to keep an eye on these bleaching front hair pieces over here. I'm throwing out the one I just took off. And the other thing is, the last 2 nights I've just been drinking diet soy shakes and soup and stuff and not eating. So when I start getting really hungry, I take sleeping tablets and I try to fall asleep, and I'm like, I want to eat something, I want something crunchy, and then I have chewing gum and more shakes that really bloat you. So I feel bloated that night, but I feel shrunken in by the next day because it doesn't hold your stomach out like that. Liquid kind of shrinks back down, goes into your bladder. For some reason that means that you don't get as hungry, well, because you're shrinking your stomach because it's elastic. And if you're not stretching it out for a long period of time, like a meal would stretch it for a long time and that would stay out there like that, the elastic on the stomach would be like that. But over time, if you're only just drinking liquids that bloat you temporarily, it still gets to squeeze back down into the size of a lemon or something instead of being a watermelon. It needs 3 pizzas to make you feel full. Pretty fucked up, man. Can't believe that's this thing I took at 5 p.m. 6 p.m. It's now 6 a.m. and I'm stoned. Fucked up, man. I go to school in a haze, but I've got to drive through some serious traffic to get there. So that's not good. I could ride my bike, but then I might take too many risks or fall asleep or something on the bike. Or I could take the day off. I'm just glad I took that hairpiece off in time to do another one. It's probably closer to 7 AM, really time to almost leave. By the way, what I'm doing here is wrong. I should wait for the glue to actually dry because it's easy to just pack it out. Just those few pieces, and then you can disintegrate off any excess glue, but this seems to be semi-working at the moment. Okay, something to monitor now. I think it's been quite a long time. I'm gonna have to look down at this these hairpieces and see if I need to rinse them out. So with this one here, seems blonder. Okay, so the front hairline is this rounded bit here at the bottom. Let's see if I achieved a golden camouflaged front hairline. And just remember, it is wet, so it's going to be darker. Well, it looks mildly whiter, but I think I'll wait longer with the others. Alright, this one's been cooking for about 25 minutes. I'm going to rinse this off and just have a look, and you can see it. Okay, so this is the one that had the dark marker mark, which I have to get rid of. Given the process, it might be easier just to get rid of it now. So I cut the bit of marker out on the front edge of that. So, don't know how well you can see. It's blinded. I can't tell this in this lighting with this dark. But I think I've done something to reduce at least the wall of hair. But I'm going to go only 15 minutes on that one. But I am running out of time. I think I might have to do one of these too. The V-loops are really falling out just as I pick it up and flick around and stuff. I'm not trying to flick out the V-loops, obviously. I'm trying to not to let them fly out. So I'm being fairly careful with all of that. It's about 7 AM. The alarm might go off in a second and shut down this recording like it has a couple of times earlier. Like the first thing we've got this morning is yoga, and they push me so hard I can't. It takes me a long time to recover, and also just respecting the girls in my class. I don't think they feel comfortable with some old man. Obviously, when I'm like this, it'll be very different to walking like that. So it eases the burden. I feel like, you know, even if they do feel comfortable around me, I just feel it's my responsibility a little bit, just for any girls in the class who might not feel responsible, you know, comfortable around me, just let them stretch in peace. Not that I should have to feel that way, or obliged in any way. So I'm going to brush this away from the top because that's where my first connection point will be. Be gentle while brushing to try to avoid ripping out all these V-loops, but they seem to want to come out. This time I'm going to use the alcohol spray, and it's a good thing that I've wet the hairpiece. It's not wet with water on that side at all, and it's been drying. But I need the hairs to be wet so I can see through them to line this up as best I can without a second above mirror. A lot of guessing happening here. I do have the other mirror in the other room, but in attempting to set up this main mirror here, and the whole thing fell down and smashed. I'm making a video about the installation of that at the moment. But yeah, I need my brother-in-law to come and help me install that thing into the ceiling, and hopefully it'll work. Back mirror here and here, and then I can slide it away on this pole, which is oblong. Is it? Not oblong, it's oval. Oblong is rectangle, isn't it? But I'm not sure if that mirror will hold. Also, it has to be wired into 240 volt power supply. And then hopefully this camera will be adjusted to 50 Hertz in whatever way I can do that, so that the 50 Hertz electricity flickering will not cause flashes on the screen. And this LED and the other LED hopefully are pulsing in union. I'm doing this a bit blindly, but hopefully there's enough exposed. The alarm just went off and stopped the recording. Okay, so I thought it would take longer for that glue to hold because it was wet from the alcohol, but it only took a few seconds. Well, it's not completely dry back there, so it's not completely stable. Which is probably good because I need to readjust this video. I can hear something plasticky there. It's like a bubble is stuck underneath the plastic or something. Because you usually can't hear your fingers rubbing on this 0.03mm poly. I just really got to check up here to see if I've got to start again. It seems okay from what I can see. Well, this was the first one that I took after 10 minutes of bleaching. Oh man, it seems like it's on quite an angle. And I didn't bleach it long enough. This one down here now has been going for about 40 minutes. This is the third one down here. I do have some more bleach, so I could add a little bit more bleach to that second one that I did, but as for this hairpiece, I'll probably leave it on and brush it forward this week and maybe next week as well. And if necessary, then bleach the front hairline while I'm wearing it next week. Because at the moment it's a wall of hair. I really didn't bleach it enough to negate the effects of dark front hairline. This bit I was hoping wouldn't be sticking at all because I didn't think I'd glued that bit down to the front. But maybe that will give me an opportunity to straighten up the balance here a little bit. Make sure that that's evened out on both sides. This Walk Ultra Hold, even though there's still that much left, is now getting to the point where the brush won't dip anymore, because as you can see the distance between that lid there and the bottom where the lid goes, that's how much the brush is off the floor of the bottle. And after that, without any external type of brush, you can't finish the job. And also, you've got to be very careful to not screw this up like I did the last one, because the glue is starting to be very coagulated and not runny like it should be. And the pity is that the main bit I need to attach is the front, the very front tip. So that's the bit where I've got to be very careful, but I don't know how to be careful unless I use, well, what I should be using, a cotton bud. You really don't want to have that glue sticking out at the front. You saw what happened last time. By trying to remove the glue, it repairs out. So just be very, very careful there. You can also see how the glue underneath hasn't completely dried, and it might even take hours to dry because there's no way for the air to get into the glue from the top side of the glue and penetrate through the glue and cook it in air. As you know, the air cooks it, or bakes it, or hardens it from above, but once there's plastic sealing it, kind of doesn't really want to harden. You know, but it will eventually because there's air seeping in through all the gaps. So I'm going to let that dry a bit so it doesn't squish. So I'll give that 15 minutes. Oh, and this one's going for 40 minutes. It's hard to tell, even if I look through, whether or not the hairs through the other side have gone blonde or not. But I just have to assume from this amount of time that it would have had to. I don't remember leaving it on for more than 40 minutes last time. Could even be 45 minutes at this point. Wow, that's a big difference. Okay, I can instantly see here how blonde that is at the front. I know it's wet and it's hard to tell, but I can see that compared to the other ones that I've got, like the one I'm wearing at the moment and so on. That is much blonder. That'll work a lot better. And I think 40 minutes was the right amount of time. Let this be a lesson to you. Always have spares prepared in advance. I've been meaning to do it, but I just couldn't be bothered. Preparing the hair pieces that I was going to wear next. You need spares ready to go. This one that I took off and threw away the other day, that's got too much exposed plastic at the front hairline. The hairs have fallen out too much. And all that lace, it's just got the unbleached knots. I've got to send that back. Maybe exchange it, either exchange it or exchange it for poly. But poly has the V-loop problem, so I'm not sure how much I can tolerate of these V-loops falling out all the time. Unless I cut my hair short, in which case I think it won't fall out as much, because there'll be less grabbing from the brush in my hands and the water and everything. Because obviously there's more weight to a long hair and it can get pulled out easily, whereas to a couple of the short hairs, it's going to be hard to just, you'd have to get in there and yank it out with a bit of laser type precision. So I'll let this dry and I'll come back here when the bell tolls 7:30. Okay, so I've waited for over 15 minutes for this to dry. This is the second hairpiece. This was bleached at the front for about 15 minutes, which wasn't enough to make it blonde, unfortunately. So there's another reason to just put a bit of alcohol in front as well, but that whole squishy thing and it not drying for a long time is a reason to do what I just did, which is not worry about the alcohol spray, just go straight down. So there's no way it's going to slip up or not be ready the moment I just brush this back in a couple of seconds. It might need a couple of seconds or minutes to bond properly, but I'm not really sure how that works. I think it should already be bonded just from me pushing that down. With a little bit of reinforcement, I'm going to brush it down. How'd that go up there? No gaps or overhang, hopefully. I'm just going to spray some water to minimise the risk of ripping the hairs. V-lips are fragile, as you know. So this is just water. So that, as you can see, compared to the last one, it doesn't have a big blob of glue at the front with all the hairs ripped out. But what it doesn't have as well is nice front bleach knots. So that's a very thick wall of hair right there. The bleach was only done for 15 minutes. That side looks right. That middle bit is about right, might be a little bit low, but then this part on this side is too low, so that's a problem there. Now I do have bleach remaining in the mix that I could put over the top of all that. I may do that. I've been stuffing around because I'm stoned, and also I didn't pre-prepare these things properly, and now I'm paying a penalty. The schools, I should be leaving for school in about 5 minutes, but I want to skip yoga. So that, I would say, is the right height there, and that would equal up about there on the side. So I'm just going to peel it back a bit. And I'm going to try and cut it a little bit short of where I want it to end, because when you cut through, you need to take into account the fact that there'll be little blades hanging forward that will just fall out from maybe a millimetre behind it. There. And that really should stick back down. But that bit there, what I just did, I don't know, that seems like a pretty big problem. But there's one thing that will make that less visible. That's what I really don't want to do. I should have cut that a little bit shorter. I should have cut that a little bit lower down instead of going straight up into it like that. I didn't heed my own warning properly. But at the moment, just looking in my, just looking on the camera there, I can see from your perspective, you can see it's just a wall of hair. And even though it's exactly a wall of hair like it would be if I hadn't done any bleaching at all, it's still not good enough. So I will risk burning my forehead. I'm not sure if I could just add a bit of water or something to that bleach to make it less burning, but I don't think I should risk that. So I'll just apply it after a bit of a shake up along the front. But of course, get ready to jump in the shower, because last time I had a scab on my head for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. So don't get this stuff in your eye. Just then I could have splashed it up into my eye. That would not have been good. So 45 minutes, there's no way my skin will withstand that kind of abuse. So I'm counting on the fact that it's already had some bleaching already. So I probably want 20 more minutes if I can stand it. Don't worry, I'm not going to let it burn before I go into the shower. I'm not going to scrub so that it causes extra opportunities to go red. And then after that's all settled and I have a shower and everything, I'll cut it. So I'll see you in a sec when the burning begins. It's been 20 minutes since I put this on. It seems like it's gone a little bit more blonde down here. But just doing that makes it not seem as blonde as that other one that I did before. That one has some pretty good blonding. Maybe not. But that one definitely is a lot more blonde towards the front. Maybe 45 minutes isn't even enough. Now, while I'm doing this, I guess it's a good opportunity to show you my fat ass. Because I intend to lose weight. And you should too if you're fat ass as well, like me. So come down here and embarrass myself further. Okay. So that's not good. That's just relaxed. I'm expecting triplets. And I'm gonna suck that shit in all the time. And I know that it's possible to fucking just get on the top. But I've been too lazy. I've been making excuses about aches and pains in my body and everything. And you don't want to be this fat. You don't want to be fatter than this either. I've been fatter than this, so that's why I'm probably like, oh, that's right. But certainly, you don't want hairy ass, hairy shoulders, hairy back, and definitely you don't want all this shit here. You just can't cover it up. There's no. You can do tricks with clothing to an extent, but then they'll eventually suss out your body shape, and it's not good to be this fat. So I'm definitely not happy with it. I just haven't cared enough. So we got to do something about your fat guts, and we will. We're gonna start walking. We might jiggle until your tits disappear. Fuck. I'll be more embarrassed when it's published. Hope to hell that I've got the wisdom not to do that to myself. But you matter more than I do. That's why I embarrass myself like this. I just wish that somebody had done all this for me. With hairy shoulders and shit. Like you might be a big fat ass compared to me. You're like, what are you complaining about? Otherwise, you know what a male mannequin looks like, right? They don't make them in this shape. It's full of fat that's just melting. I look like a melted candle. And I should care more. I should look in the mirror more. That's why I'm getting a better mirror that I can see myself. So this mirror here goes up to here on me and I can't see without going like that. I'm squatting down all the time. But the mirror that I've been trying to install has fallen and broken, and the other big mirror there, I can't even hold it there without it snapping. It needs to be really supported properly somehow. It's got an LED built into it, but it doesn't face forwards, which I was hoping to create a nice ring. It actually shines outwards, so it'll just illuminate the entire room, except unless it angles somehow and catches, it just why do I buy these things without seeing them? You can't buy things off the internet when you can't see a proper photo of the back and sides and under. Like, people advertise electrical devices and they don't even show you the inputs and outputs and stuff. And it's like, how am I supposed to know if that will be what I want? And they don't really tell you everything about the product. How do you mount it? Blah blah blah. There's no burning happening at the moment. I must have just really rubbed it in last time and it caused a lot of irritation, so I might just give this another 10 minutes. And at the same time, I might just use this last bit on those other two, which aren't exactly right by my standards, I think. I'll just do a bit more on those two. Okay, so this has been sitting on here for about 55 minutes now, and I think it's time to shower it off. As for this other one, less total exposure time. I guess I'll start the shower, and then towards the end of the shower I'll bring it into the shower and then rinse it off. About a 10-minute shower or whatever. I'm running late for school, but I don't give a fuck, I'm too stoned. I probably shouldn't go. Okay, so I just got out of the shower. I left the peroxide along the front hairline to set in for about 50 minutes. Maybe 55 altogether. And I rinsed off the other one that I had. So we'll have a look at that in a second. Also, I did 20 squats in the shower. And in a second, well, not a second, in a moment, I will do 20 push-ups. And it's hard when you first start after a long time not doing exercise. But it gets easier each day and it makes you feel better for the rest of the day. Also, of course, I've got to give myself a haircut. The last time I did that on a video, it took me 3 minutes. I wasn't really trying to go fast or anything, it's just that's how long it takes to cut your hair. In my situation. Yeah, so people sometimes will wonder whether or not I had to wait for a long time between putting the hairpiece on and getting in the shower. Well, with lace you might have to, but oh shit. I bleached it too much. Something's still white there. I wonder if that's underneath the poly, because the poly itself has become white. But if that's cream that's stuck between the poly and my scalp, then that will burn. So I've got to, so either I've bleached the poly white instead of clear, or the, yeah, okay. That's lucky. I mean, I have to get that off, unfortunately, because that will burn me. Although that is yeah, that's very bleached there, isn't it? I might have totally fucked it up. Well, it's not like it's thin air that I was bleaching, is it? Let's see if I can wipe it clean. No, that ain't changing color, man. The poly itself has turned white, which is no longer invisible. I will double check that that's not on the top in one of these locations. Probably shouldn't have gone in the middle, but I don't think there's any redemption from that. I think that's bleached. Well, there's a lesson. Don't leave it bleaching for that long. That's really bad. Second hairpiece in less than an hour. And that one's completely gone. You can't have a non-see-through. There's no way that won't be disguised. I'm hoping that it'll change colour back, but why would I hope that? You can see that it won't. That's stopped developing and that's settled. That's completely visible. Even there, look at that. That's not going to fade out as it dries, is it? If it will, then I'd be happier. But it looks like it's not going to change back clear again. Whatever was in that bleach is seemingly done more to bleach the poly than it has to bleach the hairs, although the hairs have become blonde there as well. Oh, jeez. Always prepare your hair pieces before the day you're going to wear them. Don't do as I've done. Now, that part that I cut back earlier, I wanted to speak to you about that, but it's going to be unclear to you now, but even so, the logic of it should still make sense. Because these hairs are running from nose to spine, and I cut that way, it's cut all the hairs that were facing out there, see? Even though I tried to get the snippers in between. Whereas if it runs side to side from ear to ear and you cut sideways, then those extra lines along there won't be disentangled, they won't be deknotted. I'll wait. I'll just be late for school. Odds are this is going to be a write-off. I'll have to use one of those other ones there. But I'm so broke, I've got negative $200 in the bank. I'm so broke. Haven't sold a car in a long time. I won't even bother cutting this until I know that there's a possibility of that even disappearing. I don't think I'm at risk of having any burning, chemical burning. I just think that's been bleached white. But it might just change colour back. I'll leave it on for now and just wait and see. The lighting's very different now because there's sunshine. But the great news is that whiteness has gone away after it dried. So that's lucky. I was going to throw it out. Start again. I'm glad I waited. I've just been watching Disenchantment. It's a new Matt Groening TV series. I've only seen episode 1. Season 1, episode 1. I don't know the characters yet. It's hard for me to fall in love with it straight away. I don't laugh that much at watered down jokes. Jokes don't really last the test of time, and when you get to a certain age, you've basically heard every joke. It's a bit of a pain actually. It's hard to find things funny. It's really got to be contextual and surprising, I think, you know? I'd still, you know, try to find a comedy to watch. But generally these days I'm not laughing at them because there's not much left that I haven't heard. Unless there's, you know, a new genre pops up or somebody who's really funny catches my attention. I should be careful with this double layering of the glue because it can be quite lumpy and visible even through the poly. For example, there's already glue on my forehead, and hopefully this glue here as well as the forehead glue won't combine to make some mess. And if it does, I think maybe the trick is just to wait without playing with it. Just like that white went away from the bleach. But I'm always appreciative that when I paint the poly with the glue, it's exactly to the edge, and there won't be any concerns about glue going down past it, because that is clearly where it's going to start. So that was good news. I could still make it to school on time. I mean, when the real teacher comes after the yoga's finished. If I hurry. Okay, so I've left that to dry. I did those 10 push-ups as well, but then I got hungry after not eating anything yesterday, and then I had refried beans and sour cream with corn chips for breakfast, and orange juice mixed with... That doesn't seem like it's gone clear. It must have been the lighting that confused me. It's still bleached white. That sucks. It is still bleached white. Just doesn't seem as impactful as before. Nevertheless, it is noticeable. It's very bad. I'll give myself a haircut. If it doesn't look good, I'll take it out of school. If I was bald, I'd just go straight to school because I'd just go, yeah, well, there's the bald guy again. And I'd just walk in unnoticed. It's the price you pay for having such a secret. For living a lie. So, level 1 back here. So this back row is going to be the same length as this hair, more or less. It could be a bit longer. Level 2. This really is not hard, by the way. I am hoping that that white stain along the front hairline, along the poly, disappears on its own. But I'm definitely going to be wearing my hair forward for the next week or so if this remains visible. I'm only left with one hairpiece that I've cut and prepared now. All the lace hairpieces, the whole year supply, needs to be sent back for re-bleaching because I can't bleach hair dye. I might even ask if they can trade it for poly because I would prefer poly to lace. I'm sick of dealing with unbleached knots. I think that whiteness will go away completely, actually. Let's wet the front and dry it back. What's a good hair product? Probably something that I've already put in my backpack to take with me. Problem is I need it here in the bathroom. I'll go get something which I think is probably going to be good. Okay, so I'll start with this stuff. It's a little bit greasy, but I need some kind of control. Instead of just leave-in conditioner, which I was planning to use, this should give it some kind of hold. Minimal hold, but still allow me to push the hair into a direction that I want it to go. It's called Frizzies by John Frieda, Secret Weapon Finishing Cream. And I'm not sure if I'll brush it anymore, because in the past when I brushed it, it's just, I've looked a little bit weird. I think because my hair's so curly, I should probably fluff more than brush. And especially since I want to cover over that front hairline, even though it looks actually pretty good. You can see the front hairline now that I've bleached it, it looks perfect. So poly with the front hairline, poly with the bleached front hairline works. It just does. Seems a little bit long over that side. I don't know exactly what's going on up here, but when it dries, hopefully it'll want to stay in position a bit more. So, I guess I better fucking go to school. I do feel stoned, I really do. I'll do something to make this, I think it'll just do something a bit more controlled when it's dried a bit. I hope. Otherwise, I can just wear a hat because it's poly. Won't matter. Another good thing about poly. See, I can cut these hairs too short up here. Probably should have kept it all a lot longer. Maybe because of the angle that I cut it on, it's a lot longer on the right hand side than on the left hand side. I might just take off that edge. Okay, so I just feel for the sake of this video I should brush it a little bit so you can see what I achieved with the front hairline. But like I say, I've got curly hair, so it's going to buff out everywhere else. And the other thing is, if I get into the habit of not brushing the front hairline, then I'll have less tuggage on the front when I brush, because I won't be brushing, I'll just be fluffing. You can tell, you can do anything with that, right? It'll just behave itself. So that's it. We covered in the end. That white that I thought I'd bleached across the front seems to have disappeared. Glad to be back with poly. I'll try to be careful with the V-loops so they don't all fall out. I guess now I've got to go to school. Anything else that I had to say? I can't remember. I was going to talk about this stuff earlier, but it didn't end up properly checking it out. But you might want to check this stuff out. Walker Tape Max Hold Sport. It does appear to want to stop the pores from opening. Probably seals them up so you can't sweat. I kind of trust it, especially under poly, because there'd be no chance for that to really get washed away at any point. But then again, if you use lace, you're going to be putting smothering of glue over it, so there's not really any way for the sweat to kind of break through that either. So it might always work. If you're having trouble with sweat, try that stuff. It's from one of my commenters. Seems like a reliable source. It feels like it should probably work. Don't know how long it would work for, but that stuff allows you to apply glue instantly after you've applied, put that on, dab that on. Not sure if you need much use, but in the next week or so, hopefully this mirror will be fixed up and changed around, and I'll have a nice rear head mirror. So that's what I'm dealing with at the moment. I've taken most of the mirror doors off over there. I'm just left with this one. Just, yeah. Okay. Use your acting, Gary. Alright, I'm ready.